thought, this is going to be too close to call. Not sure who's going to win. Well, with 72% of the vote in, it's Mooney, 8,000 votes. Charlotte Lane, 4,884. Ken Reed in third spot, 33% to 20%. Mooney wins it. He joins us on Metronews Talk Line. Is Mooney on the line? Alex, congratulations.
Yes,
How are you?
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. The margin's got to surprise you a little bit, doesn't it?
I'm very pleased with the margin. I'm pleased with the voters. I know, honestly, of what I was hearing from the voters of West Virginia as I was campaigning across the district this whole time was that they wanted a conservative. They wanted someone who, like me, is a lifelong conservative who had fought against out-of-control spending for Second Amendment rights. So, I mean, I was, all corners of the district, I'd received support, and I'm very, very thankful to the people of West Virginia. I didn't really have a lot. I didn't give a prediction, but I felt confident that I would prevail, and I'm glad that the West Virginia voters, did that. And I also want to thank the other Republicans who ran. They ran spirited campaigns. Charlotte Lane has worked for West Virginia for a long time, and she deserves a lot of credit. Steve Harrison's been a champion for the unborn. Ken Reed, Juan Walters Jr. I mean, they all stood for what they believed in, and they ran a spirited campaign. And I thank them for their campaign. Look forward to working with them in the future. Alex,
where did this rock-hard conservative support for you, not only West Virginia but outside West Virginia, came from? There are a lot of, Mike Huckabee cutting commercials for you. Is that because you established credentials, as you said, as the conservative in this race?
Well, yeah, Mike Huckabee is strongly pro-life, and I was clearly the pro-life candidate in this race, and I needed. They wanted to support someone who was going to fight for the unborn, as well as other things. The war on coal. I've got a lifelong record of fighting against establishment and regulations. So, folks who believe in conservative values from within West Virginia or anywhere in the country that want someone in Congress to actually, stand up and fight, not go along to get along. As I traveled West Virginia, Hoppy, the most thing I heard from the voters, are you really going to stand up against the spending? I mean, they didn't care, what part of the district you lived in. I know there's a lot of talk about what county you live in and this and that. They cared about, is someone really going to fight back against the spending? This country's going in the wrong direction. Spending's out of control. Obamacare is a great example of that. They want someone who's going to fight. And I have a lifelong record of doing that. So that's what the voters of West Virginia wanted. And I was pleased that they would give me the opportunity.
Alex, I'll ask it again tonight. You've addressed it many times. It's going to keep coming up, and you know it will. And that is, hey, the guy just moved over from Maryland. The guy was a Maryland state senator. What makes him a West Virginian?
I think the voters of West Virginia spoke on that. They want someone who's going to fight. They want someone who's a lifelong fighter for West Virginia values. And that's who I am. I'm proud to have made a choice to live in West Virginia. I'm here to stay. I love the state. I wanted to live in a state that shares our values. As you know, my mother fled a communist country, Cuba, and the United States of America embraced her when she arrived in this country. And the voters of West Virginia have shown tonight they're willing to embrace someone like me who is going to fight for their conservative values. They want a fighter. And frankly, I think the elections results showed that. One of your first questions was, are you surprised with the margin of victory? There was too much talk about where you live, where you used to live. The voters don't want to talk about that. The voters want to talk about what you're going to do when you're in Congress. Are you really going to stand up for their values? And that's what they said tonight. That's why my margin of victory is so much larger than anybody predicted, because the voters are less interested in those issues. That's a distraction. They're interested in who's going to fight. And that's what I am, and that's what I'll deliver on.
Alex Mooney joins us. He's the Republican nominee for 2nd District Congress. Will take on Nick Casey in the fall. What about your opponent? What do you know about Nick Casey, and what kind of race is that going to be?
Well, sure. I mean, Nick Casey's a nice man, but his beliefs are out of touch with the people of West Virginia. As I campaigned across the 17 counties, the folks of West Virginia are sick and tired of Obamacare, fed up with the war on coal, the out-of-control spending, and they're ready for a change in Washington. We know Nick Casey stands for all the things West Virginians are against. Nick Casey supports Obamacare. In fact, if you recall, Nick Casey wanted to go further than Obamacare, calling for nationalized health care. Nick Casey wants to take away our gun rights. And we know that Nick Casey will vote for Nancy Pelosi or some other liberal Democrat for the Speaker of the House who will side with the D.C. liberals who want to put coal out of business. So I'm ready to make the argument to the voters of West Virginia that the values Nick Casey stands for are not West Virginia values.
Alex X. Mooney. What's the X stand for, by the way? Xavier. Congratulations, yep. Alex. A decisive win in a crowded field. We look forward to a spirited campaign. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you very much, Hoppy.
Thank you.
God bless.
Alex Mooney, Republican nomination for Congress, West Virginia 2. West Virginia